So I'm going to take a few minutes, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I was going to say I don't have anything prepared. I did post something on the Universe blog. At least I sent it to Lawrence last night. It's posted.
It is on the blog.
And I have a copy. I was going to read that, but I don't want to read something to you. I'd rather take this time to connect and see what comes out of that connection.
Can you use the microphone?
I can, yeah. So I've seeded by, first of all, referring to and acknowledging the beautiful and inspiring DVD that Joel and Nancy showed us earlier, and they're going to do that again in a few minutes. If you haven't seen it, it's really inspiring. So essentially, what they have done is through the magic of computer simulation and modern Hubble photography, basically revealed the expansive cosmos, universe that we inhabit, and how we came to be where we are today. And as I watch that, it's hard not to be moved and inspired in the sense that this is the home that we inhabit. This vast, unimaginable cosmos. For me, the question is, how did it produce an iPhone? But on the way to the iPhone, how did it produce human beings? How did it produce sentient beings? And really the question I'm asking is, where within this massive physical cosmos did this capacity for wonder and questioning and experience and feeling arise? Consciousness. How is that accounted for? So that's my question. I have my own answer to that. And essentially, it's a question that I have been exploring and asking probably since I was 7 or 8 years old. And some years ago, I came to what for me is a satisfactory answer to that question, which is the question is where in the great unfolding of evolution, and by evolution I don't just mean terrestrial evolution, biological evolution, I mean cosmic evolution, where in the great unfolding of evolution did this ability to wonder, to think, to feel, consciousness, where did that first arise? And I won't get into a long story about that. I studied evolutionary biology, I studied psychology, I studied philosophy of mind, studied cosmology in an attempt to come up with an answer to that question. And to cut a long story short, eventually what I realized is that the answer to the question, and this came to me from the British philosopher Alfred North Whitehead, is that the answer to the question is it didn't arise anywhere in evolution. There never was a time in evolution when there wasn't consciousness, and then it came into being through some kind of magic. Consciousness was always there. That it was there at the Big Bang. Some intelligence, some purposeful ordering, some intention was present at the Big Bang and before the Big Bang. And to me, that's the only way that it can make sense to me to account for the fact that here we are, we're made of this star stuff that, to the best of our knowledge, originated in the Big Bang. We're made of that stuff. And we have feelings, we have experience, we have awareness, we have consciousness. The only coherent way, it seems to me, to account for those two facts, that we are physically embodied beings that have feeling and awareness, is to then make the fundamental assumption that whatever we are made of, all the way down, right down to the atoms, and the subatomic particles, and the quarks or quanta or superstrings, or whatever it is at the fundamental basis of physical reality, that also tingles with the spark of spirit, with the spark of consciousness. That the great unfolding of evolution has been guided by this intelligence right from the start. And in fact, I would say there never was a start. I'm not denying that the Big Bang happened. I'm pretty sure it did. But I don't accept that the Big Bang was the start of everything. To me, the idea of something originating from nothing is just absurd. So there was something before the Big Bang. The Big Bang was probably the origin of this universe 13.7 billion years ago, and it will come to an end. But that process, that event, that long event from the Big Bang to the Big Crunch or the Big Gasp or whatever it is, will be the end of this universe, the heat death of the universe, whatever the end will be. That event is just one event in an eternal cosmos of such events, of infinite Big Bangs, Big Crunches, and heat deaths. And we happen to be in this one. And it popped into being, and it will eventually pop out of being. And of course, long before that, we're going to have to deal with the collision of our Milky Way galaxy and Andromeda. But you said we don't need to be too concerned about that. You know, it's not going to happen in 2012, for example. So I just wanted to include consciousness as part of cosmology. That's really the point I want to make. And that it's not something added on to cosmology, that it's actually there right from the very start, intrinsic to the nature of energy, intrinsic to the nature of matter itself. The phrase I often use is that matter tingles with the spark of spirit, that matter is intrinsically purposeful, intrinsically intentional. And that's to me, it seems that's the only way to account for the fact that we're made of that stuff, and we have intention, and we have purpose, and we have an ability to make choices. So that's my impromptu little speech.